So we're going to start with the sentence, I walked 500,000 inches today. And one of the reasons why we do conversions from one unit to another, why we don't have a single unit for everything, why we have inches and feet and meters and kilometers and light years and micrometers, is that things occur at various scales. And we need to have a description so the units match the scale. When I say something like I walked 500,000 inches today, you immediately realize that inches is not a great unit to use here, simply because 500,000 is something very difficult to imagine. So you don't have an intuition. So one of the main reasons for converting from one unit to another is to make the numbers small enough so that you have an intuition. Now there is a method for doing conversions of units that will always work. It'll seem a little bit too much to work with something as simple as this one, but when we get to other somewhat less intuitive conversions, it will be very handy, and it allows you to check your answers. So first of all, we want to ask kind of what unit do we want to convert to, and which unit we want to convert from. So what we have is we're going to start off with 500,000 we're going to start off with 500,000 inches. So this is where we're 500,000 inches. And I'm going to leave a very big space. I'm going to put an equal sign over here. Equals. And I'm going to convert to something else. I mean, I might convert to feet. I might convert to miles. Let's say we're going to do to miles. And so I'm going to do miles. Okay. So I don't happen to know the conversion off the top of my head for converting inches to miles, but I do know how to convert inches into feet. So we're going to make a list down in the corner here of all the things we know about inches and miles and so on. And I always will write it as one thing is equal to another. So I'll do, let's say, I know 12 inches in 1 foot. I also know that there is 5,280 feet in 1 mile. Okay. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply what I have here by a number of things that are something in a numerator and something in a denominator. And I don't know how many I'm going to use off, when I start, so I'll just do a bunch, and if there are extra ones, I'm going to just leave them blank. It is also helpful, I find, to when I have a number like this, that's a bare number, to actually put this divided by 1, just so that so it's in the form of a numerator and a denominator. The next step is I write down units, just the units, not the numbers, that will cancel what I have and to give me what I want. So I need to cancel inches, and I happen to see that I have a 12 inches is 1 foot over here, so I have inches and feet, so I'm going to put inches in the denominator, and I'll put foot in the numerator because I have that. And what will happen is the inches on the top will cancel the inches on the bottom, and then I'm going to do the same thing now. Now I have feet, and I want to get rid of that, so I want to put feet in the denominator, and then I have feet to miles here, so I'll do miles here. And in doing so, notice what's going to happen is I'm going to have inches canceling with inches, feet with feet, and I'm going to wind up with miles, which is what I want. The next thing I do is I write in the numbers now. So the 12 goes with the inches, 12, and the 1 goes with a foot. The 5,280 goes with the feet and the 1 goes with a mile, just out of here. And this extra line that we can simply ignore. Okay, so we do the calculation. We take 500,000 divided by 12 divided by 5,280. We multiply everything on the top. We divide by anything on the bottom. Where there's a 1, we can ignore it. And this comes out to be about 7.8 miles. All right. So 500,000 inches is actually a decent amount to walk, and that gives us our final answer for that. Okay. So let's say we wanted to do this may not seem like particularly hard. You probably could have done this in your head, but let's do another one that's actually somewhat useful. So I'm going to clear that out, and I'm going to start with, let's say, I want to know what 1 meter per second is in miles per hour. Okay, which is sometimes I'll write miles per hour as mph, but it's actually going to be much more useful to write it as mile per hour. So you have an explicit numerator and a denominator. Okay, so we do the same thing we did before. All right, we go 1 meter per second. We leave a big long space. We do an equal sign. We do mile per hour. And then we take our form here and we multiply by a bunch of things with a numerator and a denominator. And I'm not sure how many I need. And if I have to add more, I'll do a little bit more. Okay. Then I write down all the possible things I know about miles, about meters, about seconds, and hours. So we'll start with the time. We'll do 60 seconds in 1 minute, 60 minutes in 1 hour. So that connects seconds to hours, and then I can never remember what the conversion factors are for meters and miles. The only one I remember off the top of my head is that 39 inches is 1 meter. And then we have all the inches. So we have, like we did before, we have 12 inches is 1 foot. 5,280 feet in 1 mile. Okay, now we do the units. So we want to cancel off meters to give us miles. So meters has to go in the denominator. And I have a meter to inches. I have a meter to inches conversion. So I have to inches. Now I have inches on the top. I want to get rid of inches. And I have inches to feet. And then I have feet to miles. So feet on the bottom, miles on the top. And notice what I've done is I've put the made it so that the units now, with everything canceling, miles is going to be on top. Now I need to get rid of seconds on the bottom. And in order to get rid of seconds on the bottom, I need to put the seconds on the top. Seconds. And I have 60 seconds in 1 minute. So I'll put this as minute. And then I also have minute into hour. Notice the minutes on the top. I'm just doing the units. And the reason is, and this would be a very difficult conversion to do if you try to do it in your head, simply because with the seconds in the denominator, all the usual rules about dividing or multiplying, you just can't keep it straight. In this way, it's totally a system. It's very straightforward to do, and you don't have to remember what you need to divide by or what you need to multiply by. So now we just go back. We go back inches and meters, and we see the 1 is attached to the meters, the 39 is attached to the inches. So we have the 39 here in 1 meter. We have with feet and inches, there's the 12 inches in 1 foot. And then with miles, we have 1 mile is 5,280 feet. And then with seconds and minutes, it's 60 goes with the seconds and 1 minute. And then the 60 minutes in 1 hour. As a double check with the units, we notice that the meter cancels with meter, inches cancels with inches, feet cancel with feet, and we're just left with the miles. Seconds on the bottom cancels with the seconds on the top. Minutes on the bottom cancels with the minutes on top, and we end up with hour, which is so we get the miles per hour. The units check out. It's good to go through it with the units because it helps tell you whether you goofed up and you divide instead of multiplied. So now we just simply multiply by everything on the top, divide by everything on the bottom. So I have 1 times 39 times 1 times 1 times 60 divided by 1 divided by 12 divided by 5,280, and then the ones I can do that. So after I calculate it, I get about 2.2 miles an hour, and that is my final answer.